Greetings, programs and users. It is time once again for another episode of Old Nerds Drinking. I am John Patrick, the Master Control Program, and here with me today we have not one but two guests. Go ahead and sound off.
This is Roejen. We're recording remote on location from, well, you're at your house, I'm at my house, and then we got the other guy here who's recording from his house because I'm recording a new recording rig.
Yeah.
Tom, if you can hear us, say something.
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm just agreeing with everything that Rose said.
It is a triforce of nerds today. Trifecta, triforce. And we are old nerds, and we are drinking. I actually went for like the most basic bitch of all cocktail drinks today because I just didn't feel like pulling out anything special. So I'm doing a rum and coke with a little bit of lime for the traditional Cuba Libre. Roejen, what are you drinking?
I am going even further down the bitch rabbit hole, and I am drinking a Long Island iced tea. Yeah. So deal with it, yo.
It'll get you drunk.
Get you fucked up.
I myself, I guess I'm the only one who's drinking beer. I've got the hazelnut variety of KBS from Founders.
Very
How
nice.
How is that?
You know what? I was kind of hesitant because some of the KBSs that they put out have been funky at best, but this one's damn good.
It's really hit or miss with KBS beers. It's like you said, they're either really good or really bad. God, what was the last KBS I had? Was it the coffee that they made? Did they make a vanilla coffee stout?
It was vanilla and cinnamon, and I think they also threw in some extra coffee, and that was awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a little
good.
That sounds like they've gone a little too far down the bitter rabbit hole.
Yeah, there was just too damn much going on.
You know who makes really weird beers? What's the Rogue? Is it Old Rogue or what's the name of the company? It's something Rogue. And they always come up.
Yeah, I think it is Old Rogue.
They do like bacon stouts and just really fucked up flavors that you see them in the store and you're like, do I really want to try this? And if you're a person of low intelligence in regards to beer like myself, you do. And then you go, this is really, really bad. Why did I buy this? And then they come up with something else and you end up buying it later. I think I'm to the point now where I no longer buy Rogue beers when they look fucked up. I'm not even sure if they're around anymore. I can't recall seeing them in a little bit.
I had a family party at my house about 2 weeks ago. And I was going to have a beer because I thought somebody had left some grapefruit Hefeweizen in my fridge. Because let's see, who is it? Leinenkugel does a grapefruit shandy. It's actually really good. Then I discovered after the first sip, no, in fact, it was a grapefruit IPA, and it was disgusting. Oh yeah, yep. That one went straight down the drain, and God only knows how long that beer will sit in my fridge until some poor unfortunate soul drinks it.
I might come over and try it just to verify the disgustingness of the beer.
Oh, well, I mean, Roejen will try anything. Ro will try anything once.
You know what? If I will have beer literally made with pig bones, I'll try anything.
You've had beer made with pig bones?
Yes, I have. Up at Right Brain, I went to their tap room in Traverse City, which is an awesome fucking tap room. If you're into, arcade games, pinball games, and Star Wars, you gotta go there. They are known for having some outlandish flavors. I can't remember the exact name. It was called like Slow Bones or something weird like that, where they literally throw in pig bones into the wort. And I was expecting it to just be smoky and almost a little greasy. I expected to have like an oil slick on the top of my glass, but it just tasted like a smoked porter.
There's a local brew house down here, and they call it Java Joe's, which is in honor of one of the original coffee houses that cropped up in my city in the 90s. So I was there one time with friends, and I was like, oh, well, I mean, I'll try it. It's probably a porter or something. And they give me the glass, and it's a blonde. And I'm like, wait.
I've had, like, blondes and lagers that are made with coffee. They're weird.
It's like I'm tasting it, and I'm getting the coffee notes in it. It's not terrible. It's like a good balance, but like my brain just will not reconcile with the fact that this is not a dark beer. It's a blonde. there's just wrongness. There's a disconnect in there at some point.
I think Atwater did something like that for a little while too. God, I swear
I
that
think they did.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't bad from what I remember.
Who it was? It was like Fat Tire, whoever it was.
Oh, Fat Tire.
They partnered up with Ben and Jerry's a couple years ago and had a chocolate chip cookie dough lager. And it was as awful as it sounds.
I was just about to say, like, everything about that just sounds terrible.
It was an experience, and now I can honestly say I've had beer made out of ice cream.
Getting punched in the dick is an experience, but it's not one I want to try.
Here,
you know
try
what?
this.
Get
What is it? It's punched in the dick ale.
Get enough KBSs in me and the right group of friends, I can't make any promises.
Anyways, where are we going to start at tonight, John? What are we going with first?
I think we should open up with the freshest of the fresh media, since we just got our first 2 episodes of Star Wars Stories Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Should we do the stereotypical, this will be a spoiler warning? Spoilers, lots of spoilers?
At this point, they've been out for a week. There's no excuse if you haven't seen it. We live in the streaming world. You get 24 hours on a TV show to see it and not spoil it. At that point, like movies, you get a week. TV shows, you get 24 hours. After that,
buyer beware.
Yeah. It's like if you care about it enough not to want it to be spoiled, you should have watched it in that window.
Or maybe you shouldn't be listening to a show called Old Nerds Drinking.
That too.
Either way, there has been warnings that spoilers are on the way now. So, at this point, the blinders are off.
So I have to admit, I was kind of, I don't want to say nervous about this show, but that's the only word I can really think of to describe how I felt going into it. Because I just had a bad feeling this was going to be, at best, divisive. At worst, it was going to suck ass.
I always am nervous with any property where they try to do this. There's a set period of time where it was a gap in the established canon, and they're trying to fill in that gap. Because you have to walk a tightrope, especially in Star Wars, because now that Disney owns it, it's very well established what is canon and what isn't. So it's like, okay, we have to do this, but we can't break continuity of what's already been done. In Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, Anakin Skywalker sees General Grievous and said, "Oh, you're taller than I thought you would be," meaning he'd never seen General Grievous before. However, the Clone Wars animated series was still going, and they had to write the entire series around the fact that Anakin could never meet General Grievous because it was established in Revenge of the Sith that he had never met him up until that point. So then, so yeah, now that you know that, rewatch Clone Wars and like all the hurdles they jump through to have it, so they never actually see each other because they've got this pre-established fateful meeting.
You know what though? I respect that dedication to detail and to keeping it going.
Right. But that's what, going into this, that's the trepidation I have, is like, okay, they're shoehorned into, they have a pre-plot point and an end plot point of what's going to happen, and they've got to try and get this plot in without fucking up any of the existing canon.
I'm not sure that will be entirely possible, because you already have a situation where he's out rescuing Leia, which I remember before it even started, I'm looking at my wife and I'm like, this cannot be about Luke Skywalker. That's too obvious. There's got to be something else going on here. So what else are they going to do? And very quickly we're like, that's Leia. But you have a situation where Leia's running around the galaxy with Old Man Ben, not quite Old Man Ben, but then it pops up later where they meet up again in Star Wars, and she doesn't act like she knows this old man who rescued her when she was a child. So
I don't think they actually met.
No, Leia never meets Obi-Wan. She's in the cell while Obi-Wan's going around the Death Star.
Yeah,
and the first time she sees Ben is where they're running to the Millennium Falcon, and he's fighting Darth Vader.
Sees the lightsaber. Okay, yeah. All right. Well, good. I'm glad I'm wrong in that situation then.
Mm-hmm.
But it also does add a little bit of a wrinkle to her SOS that she hid inside of R2.
No, not really, because when you think about it, it actually makes it more canon. Because now she has
that's what the wrinkle is.
Yeah, she has a direct connection to Kenobi as to why she would be the one to go to him, and then puts the message of, many years ago you served my father in the Clone Wars, and we desperately need you now. It makes sense why she's the one to reach out to him.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely.
Either way, I mean, I'm not going to be like, oh, they messed up this minor detail, and I'm not.
Oh, you must not be a Star Wars fan.
Well, I got to be real careful with what I say about Star Wars, or John will drop the ban clamp.
Okay, all right. We're going to establish this right now.
I'm not going to.
Roe cannot mention Kathleen Kennedy.
I'm not. Nope. Nope. That's not going to happen. I am done with all of that, actually. That is a topic I will never bring up ever again.
And every time Roejen brings up the word course correct, we all have to drink.
That's not going to happen again either. That's not going to happen again either.
Oh,
all of the things that you get freaked out about me bitching about Star Wars, I am no longer going to do. I saw a fantastic meme that said Star Wars is like a buffet. You may not like everything on the buffet, but you can go and eat the things from the buffet that you like and just not eat what you don't like. Well, and that is very much how I view the whole Star Wars universe.
Well, no, I was going to say, what I've said is, it's just there was one particular argument you always made, and you made that same argument so many times, I had to start editing it out because we've already heard it.
I will never make said arguments again. A, because I know you will edit them out, and B, it's just it's beating a dead horse at this point.
Yeah, and the other one is you saying course correct is just like one of your tropes. That it's a word.
But I haven't done that in a long time.
Dude, you have.
I haven't. I have not.
You did it in the.
Does this mean that I can bitch about Kathleen Kennedy then?
Well, it's a point. Well, she's not running that much of it anymore, so it doesn't matter. It's it's a point. It's I only care.
What is your source for she's not running that much of it anymore?
I'm not going into any of this. We're not having discussion. I'm not falling for your trap.
It's a trap.
No. So, like when I watched going back to the original crux of the argument, when I watched Boba Fett, I wasn't super happy with Boba Fett, but you know what? Oh well. It's not that big of a deal to me. I was still happy to get the content.
I love that these shows give us enough stuff that we love, and then just like a couple of things that are just outright there that we can totally make fun of, and meme about, and it's okay. So it's like, exactly. we liked Boba Fett, but then we got the world's worst speeder chase, and we made memes about it, and it was great.
And when season 2 of Boba Fett comes on, I'm still going to watch it. I'm going to watch anything Star Wars. Well, almost anything Star Wars.
I was just about to say, does that mean we're doing a Cinema Labad of Caravan of Courage?
No. You know what? I tried to convince my buddy Jake to watch the Ewoks.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's the only time I've ever seen him refuse to watch Star Wars. And I got him to watch the goddamn Christmas special.
Oh, dude, he watched the Christmas special, but he won't watch Caravan of Courage? Oh, nope. Man, I'm declaring shenanigans on that one, because the Christmas special is arguably way worse than Ewoks Caravan of Courage.
I would say it's objectively the worst piece of Star Wars media ever, but you can still have fun with it.
I would have to say that the Star Wars Christmas special is the worst piece of Star Wars ever.
I would argue that the Star Wars Lego Christmas special is the worst bit of Star Wars cinema ever.
I've never watched it, so
I've watched it, but you know what? It was aimed at little kids, so I'm going to give that a pass.
Same. Yeah, you can tell the target market audience for that without a problem.
And it's not me. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, all right, I see what you're doing here. I get it. I understand. Like the Ewok movie doesn't bother me because that was made for little kids. So,
and specifically, that was made specifically for me. The generation that was like just a little bit too young for Star Wars, and they wanted to continue, like just caught Star Wars when it was on cable, And it's like, well, hey, these kids are just finding Star Wars. Let's make some more Star Wars for them.
The thing is, I remember watching Caravan of Courage when it was brand new.
Oh, same.
6, maybe 7. And even back then, I realized what a steaming pile of shit it was.
Well, yeah, because,
again,
I mean, it's like, wait a minute, where's the Jedi? Where's Han Solo? It's just the fucking Ewoks. The Ewoks were arguably the worst part of Return of the Jedi, and you made a whole movie about them.
So, okay, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You know what? It's not bad, but I'm not as impressed with it as I had hoped that I would be. I don't know if I'm becoming that guy, but I am not upset about it enough to go on a rant bitching about it, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think what this show is going to do, it's not so much about... Because that's the problem that we have with this prequel kind of stuff. Is Luke Skywalker going to die? No, we know he's not going to die. We know Princess Leia's not going to die. We know that no matter what, Ben Kenobi is going to make it back to Tatooine because we know where he ends up. So right there was a scene that happened recently, and even when this all went down in the episode, I was kind of like, meh, and I should be much more excited about it, but I'm just not as excited about it as I had hoped that I would be. However, that does not mean that I'm not glad that I didn't get it. Maybe I'm just getting to a point where I'm starting to become spoiled by all of this Star Wars and Marvel and stuff that for a long time we just didn't have, I remember, 12 plus years ago, when Lucas was originally going to make the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Like, this has been in the works for a long time. Even before Disney bought Star Wars. So I was like, sweet, we're going to get this. Hayden Christensen's coming back. The band's back together again. We're going to have there's moments in the show that I should be looking forward to, like, Obi-Wan Kenobi realizes that Anakin is still alive and stuff. It's just falling a little flat for me, but not enough to where I'm going to go like everybody else is doing, Keyboard Warriors, and go on the internet and bitch about it, because apparently that one actress, the one that plays the Inquisitor, she's getting a lot of shit.
Yeah, she is.
So much to the point that Ewan McGregor even went on and did a TikTok saying, hey, stop with the racism, stop picking on this chick, leave her alone, she's a good actor. If you're going to be this way, don't watch Star Wars. I don't want you a part of this.
Way to live down to your reputation, Star Wars fans.
Oh, I know.
Exactly. When this happened before, you had it happen in the last series of movies with, what's her name, the Asian person. I can't remember her name is.
I don't remember
Marie Tran, I think.
Marie Tran, yeah. And I don't even know why there was so much hate for her as a person, because it's like, it's not her fault.
Exactly.
She was given the script.
She took a job.
Yeah, she took a job.
And who wouldn't take
she
a job
did it
on
to
Star
the best
Wars?
of her abilities.
Offers you a Star Wars role, you take it.
You want to blame somebody, you blame the director and you blame the screenwriter.
Back to your point about Obi-Wan, though. When I, first sat down to watch it, I'm thinking, okay, there's not going to be a lot of suspense in this for the same reasons that you just listed. Mm-hmm. I know Obi-Wan's not going to die. I know Leia's not going to die. Where's the suspense? But as I started watching it, I'm thinking, I kind of want to see how he went from this utterly broken, defeated man to the person who's like, all right, once this kid's old enough, I'm scooping it up. We're going to get off this planet. We're going to fuck shit up.
We're going on an adventure.
How does he get from A to B is what I'm really interested in.
I think...
Well, go ahead.
I think, that's kind of where I'm at, too, is I want to see the personal journey of Obi-Wan. I like where the plot is going. It's showing him, and, like, the moment where the Inquisitor mentions that, or, like, tells him that, oh, yeah, Anakin's alive, and he really wants to see you. And just that look on his face when he...
I was going to say, Ewan McGregor just sold the fuck out of that.
Yeah, just going through all the emotions of, like, sadness and horror and just anger all at the same time of, like, oh, fuck, we got to do this. We're going to have to, like, have a throwdown. We're going to have a rematch. Is he going after Anakin to try and save him? Is he going after Anakin to try and finish him? Or is he just going to run the fuck away and try to fall back into a hole where Anakin can't find him?
I can answer that, but I'm not going to, because you guys haven't seen the third episode yet. But I will say that scene, for me, had a lot of gravity to it because it very much, and I think it was meant to do this, it very much mirrored the scene in Return of the Jedi when Luke is on the second Death Star.
Oh,
invading,
yeah.
just walking around saying, like, your feelings betray you and your sister. And Luke is just hiding behind a thing, and you can see Luke's face with all the emotions going across his face. That was very much a direct callback to Return of the Jedi. And I will say that the Disney shows do little nods like that. They do. There's this thing that Lucas had where the movies shouldn't repeat, but they should rhyme. And these people are still they're paying homage to those kinds of things. And you see lots of these little things pop up in all of these Disney Plus Star Wars shows where in little ways they're paying respects to certain scenes and they're kind of emulating what those scenes were. Mm-hmm. And I was sitting there watching, I'm like, this is, I don't want to call it a ripoff of Return of the Jedi, but they're giving a nice subtle nod to that. And one of the other things that I've noticed in this show is that they make references to Jedis surviving Order 66.
Right.
And I think what this show also is doing is it's setting up stuff for in the future. So they've said several times that Jedi survived and Jedi are in hiding, and there's lots more Jedi out there, and what happens to the young kids when they get captured and things like that. So what they're doing is they're laying groundwork for stuff to come later on down the road in other shows. Mm-hmm. So I think that's more also of what's going on here. Like you can see, that's the one thing I will say about Disney, what they do with Star Wars and with Marvel too, is you can see when they're laying groundwork for what's to come. You don't know what they're going to do with it, but like the fact that they've mentioned multiple times that other Jedi have survived,
right?
Like they're very low-key beating that into your head. And they're not going to do that for no reason. They're not just going to put that out there and let it hang there. That gives them options to do other things later on. They can go, oh yeah, do you remember way back in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show we mentioned this? Well, now that's because now we're seeing this here,
Mm-hmm.
So
the impression that it's none of the heavy-hitting Jedis that are still around except for Obi-Wan and Yoda.
You got to look at it from a military priority. It's like, okay, these are the priority targets that we're going to make sure we get. And then here's the people we really want to get. And here's the people that it's like, yeah, we'll get them eventually.
Yeah, it makes sense, though, because you got to figure there was thousands of Jedi throughout the galaxy, so a lot of them probably did the whole Yoda Obi-Wan thing and went, screw this, I'm in hiding. I'm still in the court that Mace Windu could very much still be alive because they've established that Jedi can fall from great heights and still be able to land with no problem.
Yeah, we've established that people can get cut in half and still survive.
Exactly. So it's not at all a far stretch for Mace Windu to still be out there somewhere. And
no.
If we don't get a Marcellus Walker Mace Windu reappearance with one hand, I'm going to be pissed at some point.
I want to talk. I was going to say I want to talk about the Inquisitors. I like the idea of the Inquisitors, but there's just some things about the Inquisitors that I don't like. I don't like the wet leather fetish costumes that they all are wearing. I don't like the fact that they make the Inquisitors aliens just to make them weirder. Like, so they can have these weird mannerisms. In the old canon, the Inquisitors were all human. There were no alien Inquisitors. I like
because the Empire had a distrust for anything non-human.
Right. I like that scene when they're in the cantina on Tatooine and the Inquisitors talking about like you don't have to hunt for the Jedi because the Jedi hunt themselves. Is like they always leave a trail behind them of they help somebody and the story gets out and that's what they're tracking. Like that was just masterful writing. That whole part is that their nature compels them to help and that is what eventually betrays them. And then you see Obi-Wan hiding, and the way that he's continued to hide is that he's completely turned his back on the teachings of the Jedi. He helps no one other than, like, you may be helping Luke from the shadows. But for the most part,
So what you're saying is we have yet another example of a defeated Jedi Master that's cut themselves off from the Force.
Yeah, it's almost like it's a trope or something at this point.
Well, that's how you survive not being found, because you don't leave any ripples in the Force.
Ooh, and you could even put in that they've put themselves in such a mindset of despair that it doesn't register or like put out the same waves in the Force because they're so defeated. But
That's possible.
Then I was talking with somebody at my work, and they're like, "Man, it didn't make any sense why the one Inquisitor killed the Grand Inquisitor. How are you going to do that? Like, he's in the Rebels cartoon." I'm like,
Yeah, he's
no,
not dead.
No. There is.
Do we know that that's actually the same character?
Well, yeah, that's
Yes.
what I told him, is that there is a Grand Inquisitor. It's a title. It's not the same.
Exactly.
Yeah, and
Disney has
If one Grand
absolutely
Inquisitor
confirmed that
gets,
that's him.
oh, they did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the big twist to it. Like, because he doesn't die till in Rebels, which takes place later.
I was
That's
about
true.
to say, but getting lightsabered through the torso is not a wound that you really walk away from.
Well, you don't know what
Assuming
that
their
that
anatomy
alien-
might not be the same.
exactly. You don't know what the aliens, if they have regenerative quality. We don't know anything about that.
I
alien
am
race.
going to be super salty if he lives. Like nope. That's the coup de grace shot. There's no coming back from that. That's
He has to, because
internal organs and spinal cord. You don't fix that.
He's a main character in Rebels, so I'm sure. Well, if you can cut a person in half and they still come back after falling down this big, huge thing.
And I'm a
Or
little.
you can dismember somebody and chuck them into a volcano.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
and I'm still a little salty about Darth Maul surviving. It's like, no, that was kind of a fatal.
I
Yeah.
will give you that. I will give you that. But hey, it's Star Wars.
Yeah.
So
And it's like, well, my coworker was saying, well, why did she kill him? And I'm like, because she's a dark Jedi. That's how you advance.
That's
you
what
kill.
they do. That's called job advancement.
Yeah,
Yes.
that is how you get ahead in the Dark Jedi Order. You kill somebody and take their spot. We've established this.
if he's not dead, the only way that they can retcon that, but they've already said he's that character. So I don't know how, because we already know that they're relying on Rebels, because they announced this week at the Star Wars last week at the Star Wars Celebration that the Ahsoka show is basically just going to be Rebels picking up from where it left off. They've already named most of the casting for that show. They haven't named who's going to play Ezra yet. There's rumors about Grand Admiral Thrawn, but what they've said is everybody that was in Rebels is coming back. All of the characters are coming back. It's just a matter of who's going to play them. Even what's her name, the pilot of the Ghost, she's going to be much older in age now, but she's coming back as well. All of those characters are coming back. So you can't take a show like Rebels, take everything from that show, have one of the major characters get killed in a live action show, and then not bring them back when they're basing so much of what's going to happen off of Rebels. Am I making sense here?
No, you are. Absolutely.
So I don't know how they're going to do that. But going back to what I was saying earlier, I think primarily what Kenobi is, because we all know that Kenobi and Vader are going to have lightsaber duels. They're going to meet back up again. They've made no secret about that whatsoever. We know what things are going to happen in that show, and we know ultimately how it's going to end. So the only other reason you'd be doing a show like this is you have to have stuff in between as filler. So I can see, especially with what's coming up down the road now, where it's going to create an opportunity for other Jedis to come back into canon again and be like, oh yeah, I survived Order 66. Grogu survived Order 66.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's primarily what this show is setting up. But in the meantime, it's giving us a story that, like, it's doing a really good job of giving the older guys like me, more completion to the story. Plus, this is tapping into the second generation of Star Wars. The first generation of Star Wars, which is the original movies. Then you had the prequels. That was the next generation of Star Wars. As much as I didn't think those prequels were all that great, there's a whole generation of people out there that was their Star Wars.
I was going to say, again, it's not necessarily built with us in mind.
Exactly. So what they're doing with this show is they're tying those two universes together. But you still have a bunch of grumpy old farts, that are like, I can't watch anything past the original 3 movies. Okay, fine, go away.
Then don't.
Yeah, I was going to say,
yes.
then don't.
So going back to Obi-Wan, what do you guys have for predictions for how the show is going to end, or what do you think is going to happen by the end of the show, outside of the obvious things that Obi-Wan's going to end up back on Tatooine, etc.?
Well, before we go to predictions, there's one other subject I want to touch on, and that is the actress who plays young Leia is amazing. I don't
Oh
know,
my God,
like
yes.
the combination of the writing for her and the way she's portraying it. I see Carrie Fisher in every movement.
She also does a very good job. There's a lot of things that she does where I go, wow, she's acting just like her mom. You know, she's got a
Yep.
lot of Amidala in her as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, like
Yep.
you're talking about two monster actresses who portrayed older version of her and her mother, and she's just kind of like nailing it.
She's the linchpin between those two performances. She really is.
Yeah.
And the fact that she's, what, 10?
The fact that she's pulling that off at 10, like that's some monster chops for a little kid.
And I will say something else too. This is another thing. Like, you can definitely tell that the writing is different. It has the spirit of Lucas in it, but it's not Lucas's writing, because a lot of the problem that the guy who played Anakin before, that kid, a lot of it is the funky dialogue.
Oh, yeah,
that
yeah.
Lucas would make these people read.
Yeah,
You know?
I got to give, honestly, a lot of credit to Deborah Chow as the director, because she is pulling out performances that I wouldn't expect from a lot of people.
Like, where
She gets
Even
it, though.
Uncle Owen. I've never been as interested in Uncle Owen as I have been in just these couple scenes that he's been in this show.
Yeah.
Yeah, these people get it. You know, these are people. These are people that were fans of Star Wars, that get what Star Wars should be, and they've given them the reins to say, "Here, go do this."
Right.
You know, I would love to see Ron Howard's daughter. I would love for them to be like, "All right, you can handle the movies now." Of all of the directors that they've brought in, she is everything that Ron Howard's daughter. What, Bryce Howard, is that her name? I think it's Bryce.
Yeah, Bryce Dallas
Bryce.
Howard.
Everything that she has done, every episode of anything to do with Star Wars that she has done, she has been spot on great. And Deborah Chow is the same way.
Yep.
And I mean, I don't mean to sound weird or mushy or, but I think it's pretty cool that chicks are coming along and doing a really good job with Star Wars, because all our lives Star Wars has been primarily a dude thing. Chicks are into Star Wars, but you've never had a chick come in and do Star Wars.
It probably wouldn't be as condescending if you referred to them as women and not as chicks.
I get that. I'm going for full condescension
It's
here,
like,
but it is.
I just gotta say how wonderful it is that these chicks are in Star Wars. It's like
these broads are directing this here Star Wars thing, and they're doing fucking great. I mean, who would have ever thought it, you know? But I mean it with full respect. I really do. And you got Patty Jenkins is going to be coming up and doing the Rogue Squadron thing, which, you know, I'll see. You know, we'll see how it goes. I don't even know.
She's made some good movies.
there is nothing I want in this world as much as I want Rogue Squadron movies. That's it. That's all I want. That's all I've wanted out of Star Wars since like 1995 when I was reading Star Wars Expanded Universe novels. I want a fucking Rogue Squadron movie or TV show. That's it. That's all
I'm curious about Rogue Squadron, though. We know it's coming, but what era is it going to be set in? Is it going to be set in the time of the old Star Wars? Is it going to be set in Mandalorian timeline Star Wars?
I would.
Set in the most recent?
I was going to say, what I would actually love to see is a post-sequel trilogy show of Old Man Wedge Antilles and Oscar Isaac as Poe Dameron building a Rogue Squadron for whatever they're calling the After the New Republic. Like,
I really, really doubt that Oscar Isaac's going to come back.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Like even the chick that played I said the word chick again. Yes, I know.
You did.
But what's her name that played Rey? Even she, like, after Star Wars, she pretty much vanished from social media because, again, of the beating that she took, which she didn't deserve.
No.
You know?
Daisy Ridley, she is a wonderful, wonderful human being.
I totally want a Daisy Ridley series.
Here's the thing, and I have said this before, is that when Disney shows up at your door with a literal, not figurative, a literal dump truck full of money and says, hey, will you come back to Star Wars? Yeah, a lot of people might come back to Star Wars.
I don't know, man.
If they can get Harrison Ford in for 2 movies, I'm willing to lean more toward John's argument.
Yeah, I mean, we are talking enough zeros that if you put that into physical money, it fills a dump truck.
Well, here's the thing, though. How many people do you think would come back for a Daisy Ridley sequel? You know, like,
I would say Daisy Ridley and more of those people may be inclined to come back to a Bryce Howard-led project or a Dave Filoni-led project.
Absolutely.
Where it's more of these people who are doing the TV shows that have a kind of ingrained love of Star Wars. And the more important thing about the TV shows, I think, than the movies is when they're making these TV shows, there is not the same pressure that there is with the movies. Because with these movies, the amount of money that Disney was putting into these projects, it was, man, this thing's got to make $1 billion or it's not going to be solvent. Between production cost, between marketing, between all of this, that movie had to make $1 billion just to be financially solvent.
See,
and there was this.
I'm looking to play devil's advocate and make an argument with you here, but I can't because I'm curious as to how much the cost of producing a Disney Plus Star Wars show is versus producing a Star Wars movie. Because I would think that there's just as much production cost that goes into those shows as they do in the movies.
Believe it or not,
I'm willing to bet that they would save a shitload of money on
Oh
distribution.
yeah, it's the production costs of one of the Disney Plus shows is less by like an order of magnitude. You're talking these Disney Plus series are being made for like a $50 million budget, where a Star Wars film is being made on a $500 million budget. You were literally talking about an order of magnitude.
I'm going to be that guy that says, how come these shows are so much better than these movies then?
Because, again, exactly what I was saying before, there is not as much pressure. Like, these are made with smaller production crews. It's not like Episode 7, you're making this giant set out in the desert that you have to fly 150 to 200 people. And
yeah, they got the wraparound screen now.
Yeah, and all of these people are out in the desert for 8 hours a day to maybe film 10 minutes of footage. And the cost of that, they're not filming around the globe. They're not filming on location at some island in Ireland.
Can I say one other thing, though? I will say that they are really getting their money's worth out of that Tatooine set.
Oh, yeah.
Because
I believe it's been used in every Disney Plus Star Wars show that they've made.
Yeah, it has. It's they move it around a little bit, but it's been used in everything.
And I will bet dollars to donuts it's going to somehow appear in Andor. They may paint it so it's not a desert, but those buildings are still going to be in Andor. Because that same set is the set they used for the Mandalorian, the town where they are. They just use black sand instead of desert, like tan sand.
Well, he went, the Mandalorian went to Tatooine several times.
Mm-hmm. And the buildings are all the same.
Exactly.
It's like that one street on the Disney lot that in every single movie, because it's just this physical street they built for filming movies.
Mm-hmm.
Or how in Star Trek, there's one hallway and just X junctions out in a couple of ways, and they just keep continuous film walking through it from different directions.
Like, I'm really wondering, is it going to show up in the Ahsoka show? Because we know it's coming back for Boba Fett Season 2, obviously. So,
have they confirmed Boba Fett Season 2?
I do not know.
I think Favreau did at the Star Wars Celebration, because he also confirmed that Mandalorian Season 4 is coming. So they've
Season 4?
Yeah, Favreau confirmed.
That's new because they had said previously that Season 3 was the last season. That was going to close it.
No, they're doing Season 4. He confirmed it. I don't know where the article is right now, but when I find it, I will send it to you. So I'm not. That doesn't surprise me though. You know, it's a cash cow. You know, I think, and I read somewhere again. I don't have now. This one I don't have specific facts on for sure. But all of these Disney shows, with the exception of Andor, of course, and Obi-Wan Kenobi, are all supposed to tie together in the end, like in an Avengers kind of thing, where all of these things are all going to come together. All these characters from the show are all going to come together for some kind of epic climactic battle of some kind. So you're going to have the Mandalorian, you're going to have Ahsoka, you're going to have Boba Fett, you're going to have all of
Obi-Wan?
these. Not, I said with the exception of Obi-Wan and Andor, because they take place in different time zones and time periods. But I think that you're going to see things in Andor and Obi-Wan that are going to
tie into the larger picture.
Yeah, they're going to leave seeds there, which will grow into things later on. So that wouldn't surprise me. But John's probably feverishly trying to find Mandalorian season 4.
No.
But they've confirmed that season 4 is coming. We'll see what happens. And hey, it's a cash cow. People want Mandalorian. They want more Grogu. They want Baby Yoda. And so do I, as long as it keeps getting written well. As long as there's still stories to tell, and these shows are being wrote good. Very curious about Ahsoka. It's weird though, because like when we were watching Boba Fett and The Mandalorian, where Ahsoka shows up, my wife being old school Star Wars, she's seen the movies, but she's never watched any of the cartoons or anything like that. And I'm sitting here geeking out going, yeah, that was Obi-Wan's Padawan. I mean, that was Anakin's Padawan. And my wife's like, he didn't have one. I'm like, he did, but it happened in this cartoon and this here and that there and the final episode of the Clone Wars, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to explain it to her. And I'm kind of bummed because it was such a great character and everything, but it wasn't in the movies.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really surprised they haven't made any kind of a reference to her thus far in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. And I was sure that they would, because her show was coming up, and what a better way.
I was going to say, there's only, 3, but 2 episodes. I mean, there's time.
I would hope that they make some kind of reference to her or something at some point. So.
Now, speaking of apprentices of Anakin's, Jake came up with a pretty interesting theory that, I can't remember her proper name, but third sister is essentially going to be the new continuity's version of Starkiller from Force Awakens.
I fully believe
where she's going to be Vader's apprentice.
I fully believe that she is going to get killed. I think that she.
Oh yeah, absolutely she is.
By the end of the series, she's going to die.
I think she's going to get a redemption arc, because I haven't seen episode 3. In episodes 1 and 2, the way they're talking about her, and they refer to how she's not one of the Inquisitors, how she came via another path, I think it is going to be revealed that she was a Jedi and she turned, or she was a youngling that they found that was young enough that they could turn. And I think she turned to the dark side, and I think by the end of this series, she may get a redemption arc. And she may die at the end of that redemption arc, but I honestly think through facing Obi-Wan and learning about what happened and the truth, I think she wants Obi-Wan, and it's like a revenge thing. Like, they have taught her, drilled into her this falsehood that the Jedi were evil and the Jedi abandoned them, and then that's how they turned her to the dark side and made her hate the Jedi, and he's going to tell her that no, it was Anakin who betrayed the Jedi. But I agree
with you, and I will take it one step further. I will say I agree with you 100%, actually. Her redemption arc will lead to her death, but I think that she is going to figure out that either Leia is Anakin's daughter, or Luke is Anakin's son. And she's going to make the choice to keep her mouth shut and not say anything. And it's going to be like, did you find Obi-Wan Kenobi? No, he got away, and Vader's just going to cut her down, and that's going to be the end of it. She's going to figure out, wait a minute, those are his kids, and she realizes what will happen if those kids are found. Because I think she was a youngling at the temple, and she was converted over to an Inquisitor.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of thought weren't very subtle about the fact that she was a youngling with that opening scene at the temple.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, I'll have to rewatch it. I didn't see any of the younglings that would have portrayed as her character.
One of the little girls, it's possible. The only reason why I think that might not be the case is those younglings were maybe 10 years old.
Mm-hmm. Well,
third sister looks like she's older than 20.
Yeah.
Well, I can't say anything because I've already seen episode 3 and you guys haven't, so I don't want to say one way or another about your theories. So it's a little harder for me because there's things that happen in the show where, again, I'm like, oh, that's a hint to something else that's going on. So yeah, it's difficult for me.
Right.
But John, I think you're right. I think that she's going to get a redemption arc, and I think she's going to die at the end of that redemption arc, and that will be her redemption arc, is realizing what's going on and keeping her mouth shut, or doing something that sacrifices her to keep the secret.
Yeah. Can we also give a shout out to the fact that Flea is now Star Wars canon?
Yes.
I'm like,
yes.
I know that guy. That guy looks so familiar. Who? It's like,
I knew who he was right away. In fact, I all but jumped out of my chair when I saw him.
It's like, holy shit, it's Flea.
A little disappointed that he was wearing more than a sock.
Right.
But he played the character really well. He played a sleazeball really good.
I was going to say, I knew he would eventually lose Leia, because after a while he was just going to give it away now.
Thanks, folks. You'll be here all week. Try the prime rib. It's great. Make sure to tip your waitresses.
That was an interesting cameo, but it's like, I'm so happy that like all these stars get to like live out their fantasies of being in Star Wars. We got Danny Trejo in Star Wars now. We got Flea in Star Wars.
Well, the very first thing that they did on Disney Plus was Brian Posehn cameo.
Oh yeah, Brian Posehn, Horatio Sands. Yeah.
You know what? It's like you said, when Disney shows up at your door and says, "We have a part for you in this show," would you take it? Hell yeah.
I would ask how much they expect me to pay them to do it.
Right? The season finale of The Mandalorian, where it was, oh shit, we need more stormtroopers. Hey, can anybody from the 501st be here? And everybody just shows up. Yeah. Gondor calls for aid, and Rohan will answer.
Oh, shit. Speaking of the 501st, do we want to talk about Tamio Morrison's cameo?
What? Go ahead.
As the clone trooper?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
God, that was depressing.
Yeah.
I kind of expected that, though, because now that they've brought him back, he could come back as Rex, which we already know that they're going to, because they said they were going to, but...
I was going to say, if everybody in Rebels is coming back, it would only make sense.
Well, and they have canonically established that Rex made it to Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was running around the background. That's right. Good call on that one.
There was an extra that loosely looked like he could have been, and then they just kind of steered Rex's character arc so that he began to fill in that actor.
And I like that they did that. They didn't have to do that. But again, that's one of those things where it's like, hey, you know what? This will work. That's a good fan idea. Sure, that's what it is now. Mm-hmm. We'll do that. So, again, the right people are manning the helm. The ones that are the true fans,
And I love the fact that because they used him as that clone trooper, Obi-Wan is one of the very few people who would know exactly what a real clone trooper would look like, and not just somebody wearing clone trooper armor and saying, oh yeah, I was a trooper in the war. That he recognizes that. And still, even after everything, they were just another tool that was pushed aside.
And it's like when he's walking along and he looks over and sees the guy sitting in the alley, like Obi-Wan just looks at him, and that's yet another decision he has to make to stay into hiding, to be like, oh man, because he served with those people.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the people that served underneath him. So just to throw that little nod into the show was pretty cool.
Oh my God. And Kumail Nanjiani as the not Jedi.
Yes.
He was my favorite part of Eternals, and like just him being in Star Wars just makes me even so much happier.
Yeah, he's playing the sleazeball with the heart of gold.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. You guys didn't see episode 3, so I can't talk about something that happened in that show.
Yes, we haven't seen episode 3.
I know. I'm sorry. I know. I'm not trying to hold it against you. There's a part in the show where they're like, get here to this point, and this person will meet up with you. And I'm like, if this person is the person that I think it's going to be, that's going to be pretty fucking funny. But it wasn't. So moving on.
I was going to say, to give a frame of reference, this episode is being recorded on the 1st of June, when episode 3 went live this morning. And, some of us had to work and then come and record this podcast, so we didn't have time to sit down and watch the episode.
It's okay. I understand. I just think that some of the stuff we'd be talking about would be a little bit different if we saw it, but not that bad.
Well, we have kind of chewed up almost a whole hour talking about just Obi-Wan. So, is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
Talk about the LARPing, the American LARPing real quick?
Oh my God, yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'm I am a connoisseur of internet weirdness. I shouldn't say internet weirdness. I am a connoisseur of weird culture.
That's
If it's weird, you're all about it.
So like just like weird festivals, stuff like that. So one of the things that ran across my feeds was in Poland, and apparently in Europe, LARPing is a big deal. Like they do really involved LARPing, live action role playing. But not like the same way we think of LARPing. We think of LARPing as like, oh,
a bunch of dorks in the forest.
A bunch of dorks in the forest dressed up as elves, throwing bags of glitter at each other, going, magic missile, magic missile, magic missile.
Lightning bolt, death.
In Europe, the two really famous ones I remember was a group rented out a decommissioned Swedish battleship and did a weekend-long Battlestar Galactica LARP inside the battleship.
Oh, that's gnarly.
Dude, that's amazing. Like, I would have loved to have done that. Then there was another one where it was a group of people rented out a castle, and as much as I bemoan it, they did a Harry Potter LARP inside a castle.
You know what?
Really damn cool.
Don't rip on the Harry Potter LARPers, you know?
You know what? We just spent an hour talking about 2 episodes of a Star Wars show. I'm not going to criticize any other fandom out there.
I just hate Harry Potter so much, and I hate J.K. Rowling's even more. I love the fact that it's come out that she's a garbage human being, and it's just like, okay, yeah, now it's okay to hate her. I hated her before, but mainly just...
So you're kind of on the same page that I am with Will Smith, where I've hated him for years and years and years, and everybody's finally catching up to me.
Yeah, I've hated Will Smith, I think, since shortly after Bad Boys. That was the last thing he did that I really enjoyed.
I don't think I even made it to Bad Boys, because I could tell that he's the type who'll play the same character again and again and again, unless he's chasing after an Oscar.
I hate the fact that J.K. Rowling tried to put herself on the same pedestals as really accomplished authors like Stephen King and J.R. Tolkien and the pillars of the writing community. And it's like, you wrote 7 young adult books that weren't terribly pillars of literature. And you want to say that you're the second coming of the greatest fantasy writer of all time. No.
Well, to be fair, she did do a lot. She did get a lot of people back into reading. She got a lot of people into fantasy.
I can't defend her as a person, but as a writer, I mean...
She did a job.
She's an okay writer. She's not,
She literally created an entire world, which isn't as easy as it sounds.
No.
So, I don't even remember where this came across one of my feeds, but this was a group of people in Poland who on the 4th of July last year got together and did an American LARP. These people LARPed America on the 4th of July. And
when you say America, is it like the stereotypical ugly American, or are they actually
pulling
out?
It is America. I have never seen so much denim in a concentrated area since the 90s. Think of, you have to look at it the same way. This is the way you have to look at it. It is these people are LARPing what media has portrayed to them that what Americans are and their personification of it. It's the same thing as what a lot of people do in America on Cinco de Mayo. We dress up, pretend to be of Mexican descent. We wear clothing. Yeah, we wear funny sombreros. We are becoming a caricature of what we think their society is, and these people are becoming a caricature of what they think America's society is. So they rented out a trailer park. Oh yeah, everybody's wearing denim, lots of cowboy hats. We're definitely going with a Southern theme. There were
of rebel flags.
Yeah, lots of rebel flags. There were prayer revivals where like people were pretending to be like old school Southern Baptist and like talking to Jesus and putting their hands up in the air and testifying.
Yeah.
There were people going door to door like they were Jehovah's Witnesses.
Really, it looked like Walmart on a Friday night down in Kentucky.
Like, these people were committed to playing the part of what they thought life in America really is. But with a little bit...
Where'd they get the guns?
Believe it or not, they had guns. Like, there's scenes of people... And you can get guns in Europe. It's just very regulated. So, like, they were shooting shotguns. They were shooting revolvers. No AR-15s. But, yeah, there were scenes of people out in the woods just shooting guns. There's two people dressed up as Walter White and, like, what the other guy... in, like, the white bunny suits, like, pushing barrels like they're cooking meth. There were police raids of people in like tack vests and everything with shotguns, like they were the police storming a house, because these are what these people see on TV and think that this is America all the time, and sometimes it is. There was like
they're not that wrong.
Yeah, they're not that wrong.
A suburb and a couple of malls, they're not that far off.
Yeah, there was like a fake car chase. There were people there were gunshot victims where people had like makeup on that they had been shot and were like hanging out of cars.
All right, that's where it kind of draws the line.
Well, no,
but tastelessness.
No. You have to remember, this is still a LARP. There is still a story. There are still characters. They're playing out a narrative. Now,
okay, I thought you meant that they went specifically dressed as gunshot victims.
No. Yeah. Like, I mean, again, I don't have a ton of information on it. There was a Facebook post with like over 300 pictures, so I'm kind of pulling narrative out of the pictures. There was some like information, but it's all in Polish, and that's not something that translates easily through Google Translate. But yeah, like I would love like just everything about it. Like at night, they're just lighting off fireworks and dancing around and drinking beers and like people playing guitars, and I'm sure there's hillbilly music going on, or like they're all listening to the 90s playlist of country music. At one point, there was a parade where they had, like, an American, like, somebody's wearing a sash like they were the Queen of America, or they had won a beauty pageant or something. And, like, I don't know if that was the winner of the costume contest or what. But it's just, like, looking at this from a completely abject eye and, like, just as what other people see of America, and that they kind of want to emulate it, but there's also this little tongue-in-cheek to it. It's amazing. And I love it. And I want to participate.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm not... They're basically LARPing Florida is what they're doing.
I would say Texas. They're LARPing Texas. This was definitely...
Okay, yeah. LARP of 4th of July is a morality drama about the lost American dream. It is a story about hope, about a small homeland searching for one's place in the community. The United States of America declared independence. Newcomers from the old continent welcome to create a new state of America built on democracy, blah, blah, blah. I can't find out too much about it other than here's pictures of it happening.
Yeah.
But apparently there is some kind of a scenario. It's about a small town, and something happens in this small town, and the town is the LARP.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, this isn't just them making fun of America. It's still a LARP. There's still, everybody's playing a character, and everybody's a part of the narrative, and there is a story that's advancing. And I'd love to know the story about it. But could you imagine, like, if they did that, but added in, like, some Appalachian folklore, horror elements to it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude.
Well, I mean, all they'd have to do is have, what is it, it's not Pentecostal, that handles the snakes.
Yeah, those are Southern evangelical Pentecostals, the snake handlers.
It
That's-
kind of writes itself from there.
Yeah, that's a whole different world. I have a little bit of I know a little bit about that through family members. Let's see here. I'm trying to find something. American LARP is national metaphor. I'm trying to find like what the scenario and stuff was to these pictures and everything.
Yeah,
but I'm not
it's
finding anything.
every year they do the Battle of Nations, where it's the people who do full contact, like sword fighting and all that.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things is there's an American team, and all the other countries that compete, because this is a medieval competition, they all have their heraldry from their period, or that period of their nation's history. But America didn't exist then. So the American team got to make up like all their own heraldry, all their own stories. Again, this is another sociological, cultural thing that kind of fascinates me in its weirdness, that like we got to make up our own fake history about a medieval America.
I can't argue with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all I am filled with is a little bit of envy that I don't speak Polish and have a visa.
I know.
In Poland, there is a LARP group at 4th of July LARP that role plays as contemporary Americans. They just come together, show off their Americanish outfits, and act in various scenarios that they imagine would happen in the USA. It's brilliant. Real Americans. Please let us know in the comments if they got it right. But it doesn't. It shows you all. Like there's a guy getting arrested by what looks like a Texas cop. There's obviously a trailer park trash woman. Bullshit free zone sign.
My favorite one is the meekish man sitting on the couch with a shiner.
And they got a sign saying "God bless America," but the A and the RICA are very dim, but the M and E are very prominent. God bless me. United we stand. Keep out. It
So
really looks like
many
they're
red
LARPing,
hats. So many red baseball hats.
What I'm trying to figure out is I'm looking at the one where they have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs of boxing gloves on a clothesline.
Oh yeah, because they did a outdoor boxing, like just like everybody getting drunk, and there's they set up a boxing ring and having like a late night boxing match.
Here's
I love what the comment says. Nice try, but not fat enough.
Oh.
Here's a lady dressed up as a cop, but she ends up looking more like Joe Exotic.
I'm confused.
Oh,
Where are
man.
photos of people pretending to be Americans? I just see a bunch of backwa ... Oh.
Oh yeah. So I believe I saw this a few weeks ago. I believe I posted it in the Old Nerds Drinking Facebook group. I will try to repin this post to the top. So if any of our listeners want to take a look at it, it is interesting, and I love it. I just love it. And if they and yes, this is very much targeted at like Southern America, but like this could easily be like a Midwest LARP. And it would be making fun of us as Midwesterners, and
That's why I'm saying you need suburbs and a mall.
Yeah. And I would be just as much about this. Like, I love everything about this, and I can't gush about it enough.
I just wonder if we showed up, if they'd be offended that they were there, that we were there.
Well, they might.
I'm thinking that we would probably be the kings of that LARP.
It's like I have found my people.
No, we're not here to make fun of you. We're here to praise you and your accuracy.
No, this is amazing.
Yeah, so if anybody out there knows somebody who has a connection to this, please get in touch with us, because I want to learn everything about this. Completely unironically, I am fascinated.
Yes, I can't say I would disagree. I would love to talk to somebody from whoever runs this and be like, so what's the story about this?
But I think this is a good place to wrap it up now. So Roejen, where can we find you?
If all goes as planned, I'll be firing my show back up this weekend, and you can find me over at projectarchivist.com, the home of the wonderful, the weird, and the strange.
Tom, where can the people find you?
Well, you can listen to me on a little show called Someone's Favorite Movie. There are a lot of movies out there, and every movie that you can think of is someone's favorite.
Oh, man. I have a couple. I
was going to say, with this little film club that you guys are doing, we got to figure out some kind of crossover.
Oh, the Cinema Labad?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's actually not John. That's me and another buddy of mine.
Oh, okay.
We got together and just started. We started with the Star Wars Christmas special, and then it just went from there. And now we just find on our spare time we get together, and we watch really bad B-rate movies and laugh and have a good time. It's turned into a really interesting, fun little project. I would do a podcast on it if I could, but that's not going to happen. But I've had quite a few people say, "Hey, I might be interested in having you on my show to talk about some of these movies."
Well,
so
you
that
got
might
another
happen.
one tonight.
Yeah, I could do something. I'd be available to try something.
Okay.
Now, have you guys watched Surf Part 2?
No.
Well, just to give you an idea, there is no Surf Part 1, and it's the first rule that Eric Stoltz ever got.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
So it's like Leonard Part 6, but there's no Leonard Part 1 through 5?
Yes.
Oh.
That sounds about right, yeah. Like Troll 2, which has nothing to do with Troll 1. They just called it Troll 2 to cash in on the Troll franchise.
Correct. And just imagine every early 1980s Southern California surf sex comedy cliche rolled into one, combined with nuclear monsters.
Oh, man. I'm going to have to introduce Tom. For your show, we're going to have to talk about the Pirate movie, one of my favorite movies. And Roejen, on your show, we're going to have to watch through Six String Samurai.
Ooh, okay. I think tomorrow night we're on deck to watch another Andy Sedaris film. So if not that, there's a couple of other ones we got going. The best ones that I've watched recently, I finally broke down and watched Rubber, which was far, far, far better of a movie than I ever assumed it would be. And Lamageddon 2 is up there as one of my favorites. Samurai Cop, Birdemic.
Oh, Samurai Cop, man. Oh.
Yeah, I've seen Samurai Cop 2. God, we've watched so many.
Yeah,
Plan 9 from Outer Space, obviously.
Yeah, we're
Reefer Madness.
We're gonna have to sit down. I know I've got a file of Six String Samurai. I don't know if there's anywhere you can watch it, but yeah,
I can find it.
It is a post-apocalyptic movie. I don't know if it was filmed in Australia. I think it was. So like part of the whole Mad Max craze, and it's about a gentleman who is who is playing the guitar. And also a master of the katana who is trying to get to Las Vegas so that he can compete to be the king of Las Vegas.
We just recently watched, for whatever reason that made me remember that we just recently rewatched Buckaroo Banzai.
Oh, dude, I have the sequel book. I have Buckaroo Banzai. They finally published what was supposed to be the script for the second movie. They novelized it and made it... and published it as a book by Dark Horse, and it's Buckaroo Banzai Against the World Crime League.
Now, Kevin Smith was supposed to make.
Yeah. I was going to ask, is that the one that he was working on?
No clue.
That was they had intended to make a sequel of it, and then Kevin Smith's a stoner. He gets in his mind that he wants to do all these projects, but then he has to remember that, wait, I need somebody in Hollywood to give me money to do them. And then it never goes anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm still really disappointed that he never did hit somebody.
Yeah. But thanks guys for showing, and we'll hopefully appear on everybody else's podcasts now that we've shared our interests in everything. And with that,
end of line.
Over? Did you say over? Nothing is over until we decide it is. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Hell no!
Sherman? Forget it, he's rolling.
And it ain't over now.
So, what's the plan? Take car, go to Mum's, kill Phil, grab Liz, go to the Winchester, have a nice cold pint, and wait for all this to blow over.
Might as well write them off. Let's close up the bridge. Let's get out of here. Close it up. Lights out.
Where are you headed, cowboy?
Nowhere special.
Nowhere special. I always wanted to go there.
We're going streaking! Yes!
All right, move on. Nothing to see here. Please disperse. Nothing to see here, please.